Hey guys, Ricardo here and welcome to another blog tech tips. And today guys, I have the review of the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So as you can see here guys, this is my iPhone 17 Pro Max and you have been seeing it in tutorials, and today we'll be doing a full-on review. Now the thing I like about the iPhone 17 Pro Max is the bold new design that comes across in the 17. Now the iPhone 17 is made out of aluminum, and this year they have three colors. It comes in blue, it comes in this nice orange color, and it comes in silver. The orange or cosmic orange is the most bold of the set, and that's the option I went with. I love the cameras and of course the bump in resolution that comes with these. Now I was coming from the iPhone 11 as seen here, and of course this iPhone 11 in comparison, this one blows it out of the water. Now if you're coming from a regular device that uses a smaller display such as this iPhone 11, and of course this is the standard 11 that doesn't have the larger display, but of course as you can see here, it was a bump in the display. If you have never had one of these larger displays, one of the first things you're going to notice is how much larger the screen is. Now, of course, I am used to these larger screens, but not in the iPhone. So that's the first thing you'll notice with the Pro Max is the bigger screen real estate. Next, it comes with a very brilliant screen, and that screen actually shows off all of the beauty of the device. It comes also with the dynamic island up here, and of course notifications and all those things are shown. One of my most beloved feature of the iPhone 17 Pro Max is the 3D photos. So of course it's able to turn any photo, as you can see here, in 3D, and of course this makes for a solid effect. And of course in 3D your pictures or your photos are gonna pop and they're gonna look that much better. For example, here's a natural photo. This is said photo in 3D, and as you can see, it pops off the screen, and this is on some of the best 3D effects you could ever have on any device. As you can see, it's almost as if it's right there that you could reach out and touch it. Another of my favorite features is the zoom lens that does up to 40x now. This was a screen recording I did to show you how awesome the new lens is, and as you can see, we can zoom quite the distance, and of course that's the maximum length in terms of the entirety of the 40x zoom, and you can see how far it was able to zoom. So we're able to see stuff at a distance, not as powerful as the S24, 25, 26 devices in terms of the 100x zoom, but of course the zoom itself is pretty good. I love the addition of the dedicated camera button that's easily able to be programmed, and of course you can easily launch, and of course you can do zoom and those stuff by simply touching that simple button. There is the modification of the silence button. That's now a dedicated button that you can actually program as well. So of course you can now add functions to these buttons. As this one is now rebranded, the action button, and as you can see from your settings, it's very easy to add functionality that's varied, or of course you could leave it at its default depending on what you want, the traditional silent button. Button aside, let's talk about the cameras, as the upgraded cameras do very well in low light, and of course you get that very familiar high quality picture and video quality from the iPhone. Here are some very cool photos. These were taken in low light condition. Pictures are true to life, and of course they are not overly exposed or exaggerated as to be expected from iPhone. Pictures come up very superb, especially in high lighted conditions in the direct sun. Photos are very high resolution, and of course you can see a lot of detail is packed with the cameras, as you can see. I also love the video quality in terms of the ability to record live video. Where the iPhone 17 shines is in accessories though, which is a part of the Apple ecosystem, such as support for your AirPods, Apple Watch support, so connectivity on the go, that you can actually answer your calls on multiple devices, as well as pairing these up with various devices. If you're coming from an older device, as I was, it's about time for an upgrade. And of course, you'll see the most significant improvements in the display and the size and the overall liquid display in terms of the liquid glass. Some people love it, some people hate it, but the option is yours. Another thing I find with the device here, which is the 17 Pro Max, is that the MagSafe options are great. So for example, be sure to pair with a MagSafe wallet. This particular MagSafe wallet is from ESR, and of course it fills this gap on the back of the the iPhone 17 Pro Max, especially with the camera bump, although it looks quite fine without it. It sticks on firmly and release is relatively easy. And as you can see here, your MagSafe accessories are supported as always. The display also has a anti-reflective coating, and of course that will reduce the chances of the screen reflecting light, and you'll see this to be of the greatest effect when you go into direct sunlight. It makes the display much easier to see, and of course is one of the welcome changes that's been added to these screens that are treated with that anti-reflective layer. In terms of performance, this device chews through games. It easily does your photos and it does everything, and of course it does that especially if you're going to need that extra power and if you're into high-end photography. In terms of the advanced camera features, you can actually shoot in those advanced camera modes such as log, ProRes, and things that are camera modes that are reminiscent of a DSLR camera that's used more for film making. So in terms of upgrades, guys, do I recommend that you upgrade? Definitely yes, especially if you're coming from a very older iPhone. And of course, once you get the larger display, it will be hard to go back to a smaller display unless you really like those smaller displays. The 17s features a lot of cool features that you can use, and especially for your gaming and of course your key apps, you'll have all the power you could need. It'll also be a device that will be future proof for a while to come, as you will go through iOS updates, and it really moves smoothly through the liquid glass update and all those tweaks that Apple has done. And overall, it's getting better and better with each update and as features are unlocked, especially with the dynamic island and of course your Face ID and other cool features that you're used to in Apple devices. So things that I love: the new display with the, of course, the anti-reflective properties, the programmable buttons, and of course the MagSafe. And you would also love these, I'm sure, especially as it has the customization options. The software tweaks are also welcome, especially to change your icons if you have not gotten that feature before. All of these are cosmetic software differences that are available across the devices. The super or faster speed in terms of charging is also welcome. Things I hate: some people might dislike the bump at the back, as the bump itself tends to be distracting, but it's a design that you get used to, and personally I find that it's okay. The color options are also limited to just these three main colors which I mentioned. And of course, the orange is a brand new fresh color that has never been done before. And of course, it's one of the better options in terms of personal preference. So the iPhone 17 Pro Max is a very familiar device as with Apple products. And of course, overall, The features that are added between generations tend not to be in my opinion, that is a major leap. But when Apple does something, it tends to refine it, such as the leap from the 11 to the 17. So definitely it's a product worth getting, especially if you have been placing or putting off your upgrade for a while. If you're coming from the iPhone 16, it will not be much of an upgrade and would not be recommended. But if you go back a few generations, 14, 13, 12, and 11, it's definitely worth getting, especially now that the iPhone 11s are at the end of their support cycle. All right, so basically that's the review. I give this device a 8.5 out of 10, give or take. And of course, that's subjective, especially in terms of the Pro Max edition, as the 17 Pro Max, for the more advanced features, it will be needed by somebody who is a heavy user. And of course, if you're not so much of a heavy user, I would suggest that you get just the regular 17 or the 17 Pro versus the Pro Max. All right, so hope that you enjoyed this review and see you in the next one, guys. Bye.